Hello, I'm Buzz Knight. Join me weekly as we take you on a journey through music history, exploring the inside stories from guests while sharing stories about musicians, bands, and the music they create on the Taking a Walk podcast. Listen everywhere.
The Podcast Playground! Hooray!
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the podcast. It's your boy D. I don't even know what episode this is, man. Welcome back, y'all. Oh man, crazy week, real crazy week. Had to go and crutch word. Had to go down and see my sister-in-law. She actually got mauled by a pit bull, but it wasn't terrible. It was terrible, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Thank God. They did end up having to put the dog down, which is unfortunate because she had the dog for a long time, and that was her boo thing. But that's what happens. So today, folks, I think I'm talking about. Well, I know I'm talking about mental health again. I'm going to talk about this from time to time. It's one of the subjects that is kind of the driving force behind my podcast, or both my podcasts actually, is my struggles with mental health. For anybody who's joining and doesn't know anything about me, I suffer from severe depression and anxiety. It's pretty severe. It's severe enough to take medication for, to a couple of medications for, to try to balance me out. That's not the point. The point is, what I'm trying to do now, because, I'm in therapy. If I'm taking medication, then, I'm going into some sort of therapy. So I'm in therapy, and about 3 weeks ago, my therapist asked me to make a plan. When you want to, for when I'm finally done with therapy, or what that would look like what's my plan to move towards betterment? What's my plan to get myself back on track, so to speak? And she asked me to write this plan down, and it took a while. It took a while to sit down and figure out everything that I figured out I wanted to do for myself to help, because really that's what it is all the things that you're going to do for yourself. The things that you're going to do for you, the things that you're going to do for yourself to make yourself feel good. What are these things? What components to these plans? And I encourage everybody who suffers from any kind of mental health struggle, I don't care what it is, I would highly suggest that you do this and see what you come up with, because I think that, I came up with 20 questions not 20 questions, 20 points of action, or 20 points that I think that I'm going to try to nail as far as my mental health treatment is concerned. And I kind of want to go over them today so that everybody can kind of see if I hit any chords with you guys, if I strike any veins with you guys. Maybe this is something that can help you guys put together your own list of things that you want to use to help you deal with mental health issues that you may have or may not have, or somebody else might have. Maybe this will give you some insight on how to help that person. So I want to go ahead and start the list, but I want to go ahead and quick fast do a mental health check for everybody. I hope everybody's mental health this week was really good. Mine was pretty good. Other than my sister-in-law having an accident, my week has been really good. I started taking another medicine called guanfacine, or whatever it's called, in conjunction with the Wellbutrin. And it has leveled me out a little bit, I feel. I've been taking it for a solid week now, and I feel a little more alert. I feel a little more focused. I feel a little more determined. I feel like I have a little more energy, some newfound purpose. I got a lot going on all of a sudden. I'm digging the guanfazine. But, of course, I'm medicated. And, of course, the object is to eventually get off medication and feel well enough that I can be off medication. That's the ultimate goal for me, is to, to eventually wean myself off of medication. And I don't want to wean myself off of therapy. I think that, I don't know if anybody's ever said this before, but I would continue therapy forever. I would continue, because I think that it's beneficial. I think that it's super necessary for a lot of people, but nobody takes it seriously. And anybody who is, who goes to therapy is ridiculed by their peers. Oh, you're crazy, or you're soft, or you a punk, or whatever it is. That's some bitch shit, whatever it is. People are afraid to go seek help for their mental health or for their mental condition that they maybe, and not for nothing, folks. That's a lot of the reason that the country is in the state that it's in, because think about it. A lot of these, I hate to say it like this, a lot of these mass shootings, that's mental health right there. That's somebody who is dealing with severe mental health issues. Somebody that can actually pick up a gun, walk into some place and kill a bunch of strangers, that has mental health issues written all over it. So I think that it's something I've said it before. I think I've done a couple of shows before about mental health. And from time to time, I will do shows about mental health because, like I said, it's one of the driving forces behind my podcast. So the first thing that I wrote down as far as my plan, which she wanted to call it a discharge plan, and I wanted to call it a plan to help my condition. I wanted to make a plan to help the condition, not to discharge me from therapy, which, that's what the plan ultimately was to eventually get discharged from therapy. But like I said, I don't want to be discharged from therapy. I don't want to be. I think it is immensely helpful. It is hugely helpful. And if you have an opportunity to go to therapy and you don't, you're a dumbass. So take the opportunity. If you got health insurance that allows it, don't be a dumbass and not go. Go, because it will open your eyes, and it is very necessary. We are running over each other here, and we're all getting filed down, and nobody's paying attention to it. And now, especially in the state of Florida, there's more guns than ever on the streets. So, with the state of the mental health and the state of the gun violence and the gun laws in this country, who knows what we'll see here shortly, and I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that we see positive things, but with the way things are going currently, I find that really, really hard to believe and hard to get behind and start backing. So let me go ahead and get to this list. Number one, the first thing that I want to do as part of my plan is I want to try to set aside some time to meditate. Now, meditation is, some people are like, it doesn't work. Some people say, they swear by it, whatever. The reason that I want to meditate is because historically, my brain works very fast. I talk very fast. I get ahead of myself, and that's why I babble a lot, and that's why I have to, slow down sometimes. But I want to meditate because I want to try and learn or condition myself to completely clear my thoughts. And that's one thing that I've always struggled with, is when people are, all right, clear your thoughts, it's hard for people. I think about all kinds of shit, the baseball game, or, having sex with my wife last night, or whatever, I think about all kinds of other things when it's time for me to clear. Now, I'm able to do it maybe for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes. I can, but maybe not even 2 minutes. I'm giving myself too much credit. I can't do it. It's hard to do, to clear my thoughts. Everything out of your head, emptiness inside your head, the thought of nothing. That's so hard. That's so hard, especially with everything that is around us that is going on. That is so incredibly hard. So part of my plan is to try and set aside some time every day to sit down here. I'll start with 15 minutes first, 10, 15 minutes, and maybe, try and work myself. I really would like to work myself up to an hour's worth of meditation, just to clear my thoughts, just clear my thoughts, reset myself, realign, calm down, relax, try to approach things from a different perspective. Try and work with a clear head instead of just being clouded by all kinds of thoughts all the time, and random thoughts, negative thoughts, any kind of thoughts, just stuff that's irrelevant, doesn't matter. Now, I know the human brain does what it does, but sometimes, certain human brains can't get off of the certain things that they are on. And I would like to, get past some of the stuff that I'm on. I'd like to get past it. So that's the first thing, is to try to set aside some time to meditate on a daily basis, at least 15 minutes a day. Number 2 is I plan to work out. I want to make a workout regimen. Now, I used to be really fit. I was fit, but I'm 53 now. Well, about to be 53. I'm 52, about to be 53, and now that I'm fine, I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm starting to get a little buttery around the midsection, and a little ice creamy, and kind of macaroni and cheesy. So I want to change. And start working myself. I want to change my daily routine. Start with meditation. Next, I want to start working out. I want to work out, put together my own workout. What's easy for me? What works for me? The things is working out. Everybody's workout plan doesn't work for everybody because everybody's body type is different. Everybody's different. So I want to do as much research as I can, which I've already done. Quite a bit of research about my body type and what I'm supposed to look like and how much I'm supposed to weigh. So I've done a lot of the research. So I want to sit down and start implementing some of these things. I want to sit down and write a regimen, write it out, put it up on the wall, make it visible to me every day. Put it in my face, write it in big letters. My refrigerator, I remodeled my coach, and my refrigerator I painted with chalkboard paint and put it on there. Put your workout regimen on there. That's what I did. That's what I'm all about that. I'm getting to the point where it's starting to consume everything. My every thought is getting back into shape. Because I want to be around, I want to have longevity, I want to experience some things with my wife, my wife is younger than I am. I don't want to be, I don't want to leave her, but we still joke. And I think I've said this before. We still joke. We going out together. We going to get in the car. We going to have some weed. We're going to turn on the car and go out to some carbon monoxide. We're going to turn on some Netflix. Y'all might find us naked in here. So that's how we going out. We going out, and also we just decided the other day that we're going to take the dogs with us. So you might find us in the garage with our dogs on some carbon monoxide one day. But on a serious note, I want to have some longevity. I want to be around. So, I want to add the workout regimen, get back strong. I don't feel like I'm strong anymore. I think. And it's true. After men reach a certain age, 40 or so, you start losing muscle mass and da-da-da-da. You lose testosterone, blase, blah. Thank God I still have a pretty decent amount of testosterone, according to my wife. But that's another story. But I want to get to the point where I can go back in the gym and, lift some weights and shoot some baskets is really what I want to do. I'm a basketball player, so I really want to go and start playing ball again, run with the kids. And one of the things I used to claim to fame was I could run out here with the 18-year-olds. And now I feel like I really can't do that too much anymore. But I feel like I still got it in me, but I just need to go and get it out. That's all it is. I just need to go and get it out. And now I'm older. I should take the time to be a little more active, because the last thing you want to do as an old person is freeze up. I don't want to be frozen up. I went to high school with a bunch of people, and now I look at some of them look okay, but a lot of them look like they went to school 15 years before I did. They graduated before I did. We graduated together. Some people that graduated after me look older than I do. So, I want to try to hold on to that. And part of that is caring about my body and making sure that, I get some good exercise. And to continue that trend, number 3 is I also want to take steps to change my diet. Now, I'm a sugar asshole. I just eat sugar. I eat sugar for the sake of eating sugar. I'll stuff cookies in my mouth. I'll eat all kinds of shit. I mean, anything all the time. I bake. I make ice cream, candy, cookies, cakes, pies, souffles, bread pudding, anything. I bake it. I'm a baker. And I'm always making something sweet, from pound cake to sweet potato pie. I don't care what it is. But I'm 53. And I know that as people get older, things in their body don't work as well. I've got diabetics in my family. And I know that the more sugar you eat when you're older, your pancreas can't really keep up with it so much. You know what I'm saying? So I want to cut that back. I want to try to cut it down because the last thing I really want is diabetes. You know what I'm saying? That would just devastate me. So I feel like I'm pretty healthy right now, and I feel like this is a time that I can use now, to get back healthy, because the bullshit is this. A lot of men, we think when we get around 50 that's middle age. 40, 50 is middle. No. A lot of men only live to be like 60, 65. So mid-age for men is like 30-something, 35. You feel me? Middle age is like 30. That's ridiculous, right? Because we all think, middle age, when you get 60, that's middle age. No. For a lot of people, it's the end of life. For a very select few people who take care of themselves, watch their P's and Q's, they don't have any medical, related conditions, they're able to live, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old in some cases. I want to be one of those people. My mother and my father, they both give me some great hope, because my father is older than my mother, 75, and she rolling around here like she 25. You got to tell her to sit her butt down sometimes, but she just won't listen to nobody. And God bless her, because she does. She has the vitality to continue. And so does my dad. So that's all part of it. So I want to change my diet. And sugar also affects your brain and how you think and what you go through and how you feel. Sugar. Along with some other stuff like dairy, but sugar affects how you feel. It affects your brain. So I want my brain back. So I have to take necessary steps to make that happen. My best friend's wife, she gave me the title of a book called The Addicted Brain. And I'm going to order this book, and I'm going to try and figure out about my addicted brain and how I can actually shake this stuff off. Because face it, folks, the things that we're eating is killing us. The stuff we eat every day is killing us. We have more banned food than any country on the face of the earth, the United States. And it's just simple. It's simple because we care more about making money than actual health. That's the reason why. That's the only reason why we care about actual money, because I'll prove it to you. If you're driving down the interstate, how many billboards do you see for broccoli or asparagus? How many billboards do you see for working out or a healthy diet? How many billboards do you see? None. But you see tons of billboards for Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Burger King, Sonny's Barbecue, etc., etc., etc. You don't see tropical smoothie, nothing. And that all affects us, how we function, how we look, how we feel, our mental state. It affects us, folks. So I don't know about you, but I'm tired of food taking that control over me. I want to take control back over it, so I got to change my diet. Now, my therapist, she wanted me to make a plan for a discharge. But this next thing, number 4, is not necessarily that, because I do continue to seek therapy. I do plan to continue to seek therapy. I think everyone should. I honestly feel that I was able to open up more to my therapist than to anybody, my parents, my best friend, my wife, anybody. I was able to open up to her more because she didn't really pass that judgment on me. She wants to help me, and she's trained to know how to help me. And I know, that it's been beneficial to me. It's been super beneficial to me. I believe that, but I do believe that there are still a huge amount of issues that I need to work on. So at this particular time, I'm not really seeking discharge. I'm seeking more therapy, more knowledge about, because I figure the more educated I am about it, the better equipped I am to battle it and deal with it and try and get by it. I know it's never going to go away, but at least I can have it subside or, be circumvented in some way. And if I can learn how to do it through meditation and working out and my diet, then and therapy, continue a regimen of therapy, because that's part of my regimen also, then I can't be anything but successful, because since I have been in therapy, I feel like things have gotten better. I've cried a lot. I've cried so much. But I feel like almost every time that there's so much that has been lifted off of me or taken off of my plate, man. Because, face it, I don't care. And I really don't care who thinks what they think about me. Oh, this is crying out. Yeah, whatever. I don't care what you think about me. What I do care about is my ability to understand these things and my ability to get help for the things that I don't understand. And that's why I will continue to seek therapy, because there's so many things about my condition that I do not understand. I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand how it happens. I don't know where it comes from. And I want to. So part of that is, for me anyway, is going to therapy every day. Number 5, that was a crutch word right there. It was a big crutch word. I'm calling them out, folks. Number 5 is I plan to make writing a really big part of that. Not just journaling. I'm not talking about journal. I'm talking about writing. I used to be a writer. I used to write stand-up comedy. I used to write stories. I used to write anything. Just write. I used to just write. Pad and pen, I used to write rhymes. I just was a writer for a long time. I've just not written anything down. I love to write about things because I have a very active imagination. If, I talk very fast, if you can't, put those two things together, I got a really active imagination. So I try and chronicle or write down some of the things that my imagination has. I've written stories, all kinds of things, and I just don't write anymore. So part of that, of my treatment, is to start writing again. No matter what, either start writing or go over something that I've written every day. No matter, for at least an hour. Sit down and write it. I write stand-up comedy. I'm a comedian. Sit down, write some jokes. Sit down and write some jokes. Get up and rehearse the jokes that you write. Read those jokes. Rehearse the jokes that you write. If it's you, folks, write down what it is for you. And then make it a point to get up and do it. Make it a point to get up and put in the effort. I know we're tired, man. We work all day and we're tired. But if you do this for yourself, I promise it'll get better for you. It'll be good for you. So write it down or do whatever it is that's your equivalent of writing for me. If you ride dirt trails on your motorcycle, then go out there and, ride to your heart's content, man. But do the things. Start doing that. Number 6 is put a little more effort, or really not a little more, a lot more effort in believing in myself and believing in my actual abilities. I'm talented. I have talent, but I shun my talent away. I wiggle away from it, and God will take it from you. If you don't use it, He'll take it from you. So I want to become more aware of it. I want to become more obsessed with it. I want to put the effort into believing myself, because a lot of times I just don't believe in myself, even though I have every tool that I need. I don't know if anybody ever saw this movie called The Last Dragon, one of my favorite movies in the world, and they should really remake that shit. But The Last Dragon was about a young black guy named Bruce Leroy. His name was Leroy, but his name was Bruce Leroy, and he studied Kung Fu in New York. And He had a master, and he was very devoted, and he was a great student, but he did not believe in himself. He didn't believe that he didn't believe in himself. And there was a rival in the movie, and his name was Show Nuff. And the one thing that Show Nuff had that Bruce Leroy didn't have, man, he had confidence. He knew. He had a whole, who am I? Show Nuff. Who's the meanest? Show Nuff. Who's the baddest? Show Nuff. He knew. Show Nuff was the meanest, was the baddest. He knew. Bruce Leroy kept telling himself that he wasn't. He kept telling himself that he was not that guy when really he was. He was that guy. And it took him the whole movie to realize, well, he actually went back to his master looking for answers. And his master finally told him, he says, I am no longer your master. I have nothing else to give you. I have nothing else to give you. I have nothing else to offer you. You have to believe in you. So for me, I have to begin to really believe in myself and my abilities. I have some pretty good abilities. I know I got some pretty good abilities. I just got to continue to believe it and put those abilities out to the best I can. My best foot forward every time. And if nobody likes it or nobody digs it, hey, so what? It doesn't mean that I'm not valid or I don't have those abilities or those abilities are not good. It doesn't mean any of that. The next thing I want to do is I want to talk more with my family and friends regularly, because sometimes when I'm in a bad state, it always helps to talk to your family and friends, especially my sons. I want to talk to them, more. I want to talk to my kids more. I want to talk to my family and all of my people. I want them more. And I want to talk to them more because always when I'm in a bad mood, the first person I can call to really take me out of my bad mood is my mother. But I can't always reach my mother. But I can call my two best friends in the world, 3, 4 guys and immediately these guys, they know what to say to get me laughing, to take me out of my state of mind for that brief period of time. But it's short-lived because, we're just laughing and joking and being fools on the street. But we do, though. We laugh, and that does help. So I want to talk more with my friends. I want to be closer with my family. I want to call my siblings more and, and learn more about their lives and the things that they go through, because that's enriching for me. That enriches my life. That gives me a sense of pride to know that my family is doing well, to know that my family, or that I'm able to talk and have a good relationship with my family. So I want to go out. Number 8 is I want to go out and socialize more. And I don't go out right now. I used to go out, and the reason I don't go out no more is because I spent my whole life in the going out industry. I was a nightclub bartender in New York City for most of my working career. I was also a food and beverage manager between New York City and Florida. I've worked at some of the best, most world-renowned places, and it took everything out of me. It took my whole everything. It took the reason I'm here is because of that business, the hospitality industry. The reason I take medication, one of the main factors is the hospitality industry, and that is so true. And if you are in the hospitality agency, and this is off the subject, I encourage you, go get some help, y'all, because you'd never believe the things that have affected us. You'll never believe it, and once you go to therapy, you'll begin to realize it. And I learned that it was hurting me. It was killing me. It was one of the things that was making me the most depressed, because I was unable to spend any time with my children, because I always worked at night. I always worked on the weekends, and I missed my oldest son. I missed him growing up from working. So I had to learn, that, your story is not more important to my children, because they make it seem like, my son has, a baseball game. Oh, well, we really need you on Friday night, but his baseball game is on Friday night. Well, I don't know who else is going to cover the shift, but my son has a baseball game on Friday night. Well, either you come in on Friday night or you don't work here anymore. Well, I guess I don't work here anymore, which contributes to mental health issues, because now you've quit your job, You know what I mean? So I never wanted to do that. I've been fired from jobs, but I never wanted to quit my job. But I've had to. I've had to in order to maintain some level of sanity. That's the truth. So I podcast now and trying to focus more on myself and not so much on somebody else's business or hospitality or bending over backwards or the customer is always right. Not so much that anymore. It's much more with me and concerning with me. So I want to go out and I want to socialize more with my friends so that I don't have to rely on a business to give me, or my job to give me a sense of purpose or being or belonging. I don't have to rely on that. And I'm not tied to it. And I don't feel like I'm tied to it or like I'm trapped to it or slave to this business. I felt so long that this was the only thing that I knew how to do was serve tables and tend bar and manage places. And I learned that is so not true. There's 10 million other things that I'm very, very capable of. And that goes back to number 6. I have to believe and put forth effort in believing my abilities. So let's see. I got to number 8. Number 9 is focus on creating new memories. And that is true, because if you dwell in the past, you'll never get out of it. You'll never heal. You'll never get past. But you have to. You have to. I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to get better and you want to heal, then you got to. You got to move on and you got to focus on other things. And one of the things is focus on creating new memories with the people that are in your life that genuinely care for you. That's what you have to do. Make new memories. There's people in your past that have hurt. They're family members that have hurt you beyond measure. I know people who don't talk to their family members because they've hurt them beyond measure. And it's so sad. But focus on trying to make new memories. Make new memories. Shed the old ones, not the good ones, the ones that hurt. The ones that hurt. Make new memories. Go out. If somebody you fell out with, years ago, call that person up. See how they're doing. Things change. People are different. People are remorseful. People also have pride. And sometimes it's okay to be the bigger man and call and be like, look, dude, I just wanted to shout you out and be like, look, my man, I know we got, we left off on a bad note, but I always wanted you to know you was my nigga. So, I just want you to know that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, because chances are they've been wanting to do that same thing for years and years, because they miss talking to you too. They miss the relationship that they had with you. They think about the things that y'all used to do. Focus on new memories with that person. If you got somebody that hurt you, like somebody cheated on you, you don't have to let that person back in your life, but focus on making new memories other than the one that is associated with that person. You know what I mean? I used to dwell on all kinds of shit about ex-girlfriends and, being done wrong and da-da-da-da-da, so on and so forth, all kind of shit. And I don't even think about that shit no more. My wife is I got the best wife in the world, okay? I'm just, all you other wifeys out there, I'm sure you guys are great, but I got the best wife in the world. I truly and genuinely feel that I do, so. Got a really good wife. And I'm focused. That was a crutch phrase. I'm really focused on making new memories with her. My wife and I, like I said, we floated down the river. We made some great memories. We floated down the little lazy river called I made a YouTube video about it. Go to my YouTube, Deron Harris at YouTube, DeronHarris. Go on, like, subscribe, and share. You know how they do on YouTube. I'm trying to be that YouTube dude. That's right. So I made a crutch word. I went and made a video behind it because we had such a good time. And it's something that I'm going to remember all the time. It's also definitely something she's going to remember because, she's from Chicago and she's never really floated down any kind of river like that with, snakes and gators and things of that nature. She's never had to do that or has never done that. So I took her out, gave her first experience out in the woods, floating down the river. She loved it. Now it's summertime, getting ready to be summertime here in Florida, and it's something that we have put on our things to do with each other. We roller skate, and now we go float down the river. So those are two things that change my state. You know what I'm saying? Number 10, try and identify, break down, and overcome as many issues that trigger me. Now, that's a good one right there, because there's a lot of things that trigger people that they don't even know trigger them. And now I feel like I'm a little more sensitive to that. I'm a little more aware, where I can kind of sit for a second and go, okay, what happened? What just transpired? And I feel like I'm in a little bit better position, because now I know I have some tools and I got some things to help me fight with. There's a lot of issues. People have a lot of issues to overcome. I am no exception. I have a lot of baggage. Hats off to my wife for picking me up with all the bags. So she is totally, like I said, the best wife in the world. But I want to find out the things that really trigger me. Now, I know some of these things. I've written them down, but I don't know some of these things. I'll give you an example. Like I said, I was a food and beverage manager, and I was working at a really nice lounge, and it was really nice, and I had about a staff of 15, and I was having a staff meeting. We were closed. And we were having a staff meeting, and about halfway through this meeting, the meeting was an hour long, about 30 minutes into this meeting, I started having this feeling like I was going to just burst and just choke up and cry. I had no idea where it came from. I didn't know what caused it. I didn't know anything. And I tried to fight back some tears, and next thing you know, I'm bawling in front of my staff. I was so embarrassed. I did not know what happened. I ran back in the office. Some people ran back, hey, D, man, you all right? You okay? Yeah, I'm good. I didn't want to open the door because I'm bawling. I made up some bullshit as to why I was crying, but I didn't know myself. I didn't even know myself, and that's when I knew that something is really wrong, and there are some things that are triggering me that are bringing these things out of me. So I need to find out and figure out what the problem is. And by the way, this was like 3 years ago, 3.5, almost 4 years ago that this happened. And since then, I've had other episodes similar to that. I just never know where it came from. And then I was diagnosed with, severe depression and anxiety. And then I started putting 2 and 2 together. And next thing you know, now I'm on medication. And that's okay. That's quite all right. It helps. It helps me. It's helping me. I do want to get off it. I do eventually want to wean myself off of it. But for right now, I can tell it's working. You can tell it's working because all those same feelings are still there. They're just dull now. They're a little dull. I'm not really dulled down as a person. That was one of the things that I was most concerned about when I started taking the medication. They were like, oh, you might, experience that. I was like, I don't want to be a different person. I don't want to look or appear medicated. That's the whole thing. I don't want to be Mr. Slobber down my chin. I don't want to be that dude. So I need to have some medication that's not going to do. Also, I need to have medication that's not going to give me no sexual side effects, because we gets it in at my house. Okay? So anything with sexual side effects in it, you can miss me with that. Period. So as long as those two things, I'm not allergic to it. I was open to taking the medication. So I've been on Wellbutrin now for about a year, and I just started taking guanfacine about a week ago. And man, you can tell it's doing stuff. You can't feel it per se. It doesn't feel like anything physical that you can feel. It's more like things that you're able to notice about yourself. It's things that you notice. And that was good because I didn't want to feel high or, like I said, medicated or anything like that. I didn't want to be that dude. I don't want to be that dude. But this is really, I mean, where I'm at right now is a good space. That was number 10. I'm going to take a break. I need to go get a glass of water or something. I'm starting to be parched. And that's it, too. That's one of the things, too. I want to drink more water. I want to drink a bunch of water. So I'm going to go and drink some water, maybe go to the bathroom, poke around the kitchen a little bit, squeeze on my wife for a couple of seconds, and I'll be right back. You are listening to the Deron Harris Podcast.
Over the past few years, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected how we live our daily lives.
Today, 1 in 5 Americans experience emotional and mental health challenges, but many of us do not understand what we are facing or how to ask for help.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, we work every day to eliminate stigma, combat mental illness and substance use disorders, and advance mental health.
If you or someone you love needs help, you are not alone. Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Deron Harris. If you're just joining me, I'm talking about everything that I'm going to do to combat, I guess, the mental issues that I go through. Let's just put it like that. Let's just do it like that. The mental issues that I go through. So I went through a list. I'm halfway through a list of 20. I did 10 and I took a break, and now it's time to get on with the list. And like I said, I wholeheartedly encourage anybody who's listening or has listened to get a piece of paper and a pen and write some things down. Write some things down. Try and get to the point where you are searching out these things, the different triggers that you may have, and write down things that you are going to try and do to circumvent that or try and fix those things, because a lot of people think that they're stable, but the truth is the majority of us suffer from some sort of mental episode, or some sort of mental disability, or some sort of mental issue. The majority of us. There are a few that are, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, good to go. But there are a lot of us that aren't. And the first step to getting better is really kind of just admitting that there is an issue in the first place. And that's the problem. A lot of people don't admit it. They don't like to admit the fact that something is wrong, or that they're sad, or that they're afraid of certain things that are happening in their lives. And they go through this life putting up this front like they this cool, calm, and collected, level-headed, guru. And it's really not the case. I'm guilty as charged. I used to tell people this bullshit. I used to say, I don't stress. I handle stress differently. No, I don't. I handle stress just like everybody else. Everybody handles stress similarly. Well, the same. Stress is stress. No matter what the stressor is, it's still stress. And stress can cause problems, deep-rooted problems. And if it goes unchecked, it could last a lifetime. It could go on forever. And you would never know what happened. That's why I'm glad and I've said a couple of you knows, but I'm glad that I found a really good therapist that helps me mow over all these issues. So I'm going to get back to the list. All right. Number 11 on this list. Like I said, I did 1 to 10. If you're just joining me, go back and listen. Grab the first 10 and then continue on. But number 11 is try and have less rules. Fewer rules equals less triggers. You feel me? The fewer rules that you have, the less triggers that you have, the less things there are that will make you angry, that could piss you off or send you into some volatile rage. That was a problem of mine for a long time, is I had so many rules. It has to be this and it has to be that, and you can't do this and you can't do that, or otherwise I'm going to be upset. And after a while, you know what happened? People start saying, I don't give a fuck if you're upset. I am who I am. And if you don't like who I am, then go be with somebody else or go hang out with somebody else. And that's the truth. And I had to start thinking. I had to start doing a lot of thinking. Am I imposing myself on people around me? With my attitude or some of the phrases I may say, am I imposing myself? Am I overstepping my bounds by putting so many constraints on the people that deal with me? So many rules. Because what was happening is I'd be in a relationship with somebody and they wanted to do something that they always did, and I would take offense to it. Like it was personal, but it had nothing to do with me. It had nothing at all to do with me. But I would take it like it was personal, and I would be upset about it. But what that was is fear, sense of loss. I didn't know how to articulate it. I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know what it was. But that's exactly what it was fear. Got to stop being afraid. Got to stop putting up so many barriers. Stop with too many rules. Then you got to keep up with all your rules. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep up with all your bullshit that you put on people. And then you got to ride by your own bullshit. Because you can't have somebody do something in that you're not really trying to do yourself. Feel me? So I decided that rules schmools. People are who they are. I am who I am. And I do know one thing I don't like is to have a bunch of rules put on me. See that? I had to turn myself around. I had to look in the mirror. I had to put the shoe on the other foot. And I understood. And I understand. So now, I'm not saying that I don't have any rules or any kind of standards. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when you have too many rules, like I said, you're always in some sort of turmoil with someone because your rules don't always match up with their lifestyle. So, of course, there's friction. The less rules, the less friction. Feel me? The less rules, the less friction. So I'm trying to have less friction in my life. I'm trying to get by the triggers. I'm trying to get past those triggers. And one of those things is I got to let stuff go. I got to let stuff go. I got to be able to say, all right. But we try to hold everything accountable. Oh, no, you did this, so I have to. No. What you have to do is not stress yourself about it. That's what you have to do. Or you should be doing. Or should be trying to do. Make less rules. Number 12. I need to be honest with myself about my condition and seek as much information on it as possible. That's what I need to do. I need to know everything I can about what causes me to go through some of the episodes that I go through. I need to know that. I need to figure that out. I need to do as much research, read as many books, watch as many documentaries as I can. What I do now is I ask my therapist or ask my psychiatrist, listen, I ask them the questions. And they're pretty good about answering the questions. They're pretty good about it. They tell me. They tell me about my condition. They tell me that I can have a productive life outside, around people. You don't have to close yourself in, which I've been going out more, stepping out into public a little bit more. You are a good person. They tell me a lot of things. They sit down and they counsel me through a lot of things, and I'm grateful for that. They are honest with me about my condition, and I appreciate that, because the truth, sometimes it hurts, but you can only respect the truth, and that's what I enjoy, is the fact that they are truthful with me. They make me comfortable. So number 13 is work on myself every day. And that is, I should be doing that anyway. Everybody should be doing that anyway. Everybody should be working on themselves, their personal growth themselves. The guru said, Anthony Robbins said, all human beings, all healthy human beings want more. If you want more from their life, they want more passion, more love, et cetera, they want more. If you're healthy, if you're a healthy human being. And that's one thing I want to work on. I want more out of myself. Not like I'm beating myself with a dead horse, but I know, like I said, I know my capabilities. I know what so I expect, and I should expect more from myself. I need to focus in on that. And the medication that I'm taking so far has started helping that, which is, like I said, which is cool. Inside you is where your entire future lies. Your entire everything lies. Is not with other people, not with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, husband, or wife. It's inside you. So that is what you have to work on. You work on yourself. And that's the thing. I work on myself so that I can give the best version of myself to my wife. My wife works on herself so she can give me the best version of herself. And it works out. And everybody is happy. We all get along. Because we care enough to do research, to sit down and talk, to have dialogue about the different things that we want to achieve in our own lives. I sit down and I talk to my wife about everything that I want to work on with myself. And you know what she does? She sits and she encourages me. You should go do that. Do that also. When are you going to do this? You said you were going to do that and didn't do this. And that's one good thing about my wife, is she will definitely light a fire under my ass. And I love her for that, because she makes sure that I get up and at least try, because there was a time where I didn't. For many different reasons. I was afraid. I had lack of motivation, depression. I just stopped trying. I stopped doing everything that I loved. I stopped everything. Which leads me to number 14, which is, I'm going to tell myself every day that I am good enough, that I am not dumb, that I am special and unique, that I am valuable and valued. I am capable of great things. Tell myself that every day. Because everything I said right there, for a long time, I just believed the opposite, the exact opposite. I put myself down so much. And that kind of contributed to the condition, on top of working in the service industry where I had to just be subservient as shit to anybody whose fries were cold. On top of not seeing my kids. On top of working all nights and not being able to be present in any of the relationships that I was with. And that was one thing. And that is one reason that I stopped working in the business that I am, because I just got married, and I will be damned if my wife is going to work during the day and I'm going to work at night and we're going to be two ships passing it, and that's not going to happen. I'm not doing that. And if I ever go back to that type of work, I'm working Monday through Friday during the day, and if you can't, then it's not meant for me to be here, period. Because if COVID taught me one thing, is that the people in your life, the people that in your life are important. The people that care for you, that is a deep thing. That is an important thing. My wife, through COVID, we knew after COVID, we knew we could get married and it would be no problem, because all through COVID, we were inseparable. So we knew. But that doesn't mean that we didn't have things that we needed to work on within ourselves. And we still do. So I'm committed to working on myself every single day. Every single day. I'm good. I got to tell myself. I got to let myself know. I got to be like, D, you know. We all do. We all do. Because I'm sure that we all feel sometimes that we are inadequate. That we don't stack up next to the person next to us. I remember when I was acting, I'd go on auditions. And it was crazy because I'd go in this audition, and when I was outside, I'd be hyped up about the audition. But as soon as I walked in the audition, I'd get a reality check, because there's 10 other dudes, 15 other dudes in this room that look exactly like you and can do the exact same thing that you do. And all of a sudden, you don't feel so important. You feel pretty mundane, pretty regular, pretty run-of-the-mill. But you have to believe that you're not that. And that is the key. That is the thing. That's the thing that separates people. You got to believe. You got to believe. Okay. Number 15 is kind of the conjunction to the continuation of number 14. Number 14, I said, to tell myself that I'm good enough, that I am not dumb, that I am special and unique, that I am valuable and valued, and I am capable of great things. And number 15 is, I have to work on actually believing that. Because I can say it as many times as I want to. But if I don't believe it, then it's hollow. I have to believe myself. I got to believe, not only believe myself, believe the things that I tell myself, believe my dreams and aspirations, believe. Because if you introduce just the slightest bit of doubt, then you won't do anything. You won't get it done. Ask me how I know. Slightest bit of doubt will make you procrastinate the greatest times in your life. The slightest bit of doubt can make you miss the opportunity that you've been waiting for. Just the slightest little bit of doubt. And we all have it. We all have it. Even the finest motherfucker, the dime pieces. Listen, we all go through that. We all feel inadequate to something or someone else. But we have to remember that we're not. Even if we are, you don't tell yourself that. You never put yourself down. Lift yourself up. Lift yourself right on up and tell yourself, I'm just as good as you, and you. And then believe it. Know it. Feel it. Live in it. So I want to get that going. Number 16 is reinforce positive traits in myself. Tell myself, if I'm, for real, if I did a good job, I did a good job. If you're nice, you're nice. Reinforce that. I'm a nice guy. I really am. They say nice guys finish last. Maybe so. But I don't feel like it. I feel like I got compensated. I got blessed with my wife. I'm good. I didn't finish last with her. I finished first. You know what I'm saying? Even though we met each other later, it is what it is. Now we married. Reinforce positive traits. I'm a good dude. I'm a loyal friend. I'm a good brother. I like to think that I was a pretty decent student. I like to think that to my parents that I'm a really good son. So reinforce those things. The things that you know about yourself that are positive, stand up, shout it from the mountaintops. Everybody needs to know. I got a problem with not doing that. With not reinforcing my positive behavior. I always come up with something negative to sabotage myself. So I got to stop. I got to start learning to reinforce my positive traits. Number 17 is start trying to have fun again. For a long time, I just didn't have any fun. I didn't have fun. I had anxiety. I'd go out and I had anxiety. I wanted to get out. I didn't know what to say to people looking at me. I just felt weird. Even though I was in the nightclub business my entire life. I'd go out to a club and sit there and I just would feel awkward. I didn't know why. And one of the place that I felt the most comfortable in. I would go to these places and I felt out of place, and maybe we all go through it, but I think it was kind of different. It gave me anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety, and then behind that, I was depressed because, what's happening to me? I didn't understand. I didn't know. Now I do, and now I can fight that, and now I can have fun again. So my wife and I have been having fun. Like I said, we floated down this river here close to us. It's a clear river spring. Like I said, it's 30 feet deep. Absolutely gorgeous. We got a 2-person inner tube and we floated down the little lazy river and had a great day. We had a wonderful day. It was so much fun. And all we did was sit there, float down the river, and talk to each other. But we went out and experienced something. We could talk to each other at home too. But going out to experience things, those are the things that create memories. Those are the things that create good memories. And that is exactly what I'm trying to do with my wife, is create the best memories. And my mother and my brothers and sisters and all my friends, I'm trying to create the best memories I can with all of you. Number 18 is stop feeling guilty and embarrassed. It's just that. Stop feeling guilty and embarrassed. There's nothing I could do about it. It's not my fault. I got to accept that. Guilty, man. People hate being guilty of the shit they're guilty of. They really do. And I'm no different. But if you don't do anything and you experience guilt, you got an issue. There's an issue there. And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of some shit. Yes, I did that shit. But there's a lot of shit that I'm not guilty of that I take on the burden of guilt for that situation or that action or whatever it is. And I shouldn't do that because it burdens me down. Or embarrassment. I don't have anything to be embarrassed about. Nothing. Everybody's had embarrassing moments. Nobody is perfect. But I would feel embarrassment for other people. Just embarrassed. All kinds of reasons. And I've told myself this before, you got nothing to be embarrassed about. But I didn't believe it. So that goes right on back to trying to actually believe that. Believing that I don't have anything to be guilty or embarrassed about. I got to believe in that. Number 19 is start loving myself. That is also a huge part of it. A lot of us love all kinds of things around us. We don't love ourselves. We love our boyfriends, don't love ourselves. We love our dogs, don't love ourselves. We love our kids, don't love ourselves. We love our car, don't love ourselves. We love our houses, don't love ourselves. We love our jobs, don't love ourselves, etc., etc., etc. It goes on and on and on. I have to believe that I love myself and myself loves me back. I need to form a crush on myself. I need to know that my number one fan and my number one love is myself. Not my wife, not my mother, not my kids, not my job, not my friends, not my car, my house, my dog, none of that. Me. It's me that's got to love me before I can be useful to anybody else. And I know everybody's heard that before, but it is so true. So true. You have to love yourself. You have to turn the mirror around on yourself, and you have to strip yourself down. And you have to stand there vulnerable with everything in your soul hanging out. And you got to tell yourself that you are good enough, that you are not dumb, that you are special, that you are valued and valuable, and that you love yourself. I love myself. And it took me a long time. I've tried to take my life, all kind of shit. But recently, it's crazy. I've figured out that, man, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. Now, I'm not a narcissistic motherfucker or nothing like that, but I do love the shit out of myself. I love myself so much that I'm willing to work on myself to give other people in my life the best version of myself. That's how much I love me. And not even other people. Give me the best version of me. Too much time down here in the dirt. Too much time down here wallowing around with people I shouldn't be wallowing around with. All kind of shit. Too much time wasted. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, all that shit. That shit is over. It's all about me. Yes, it's all about me. It's got to be. Just like it's got to be all about you. Because if you love yourself, you will do anything in the world to make you happy. Facts. All right, the last one, the last entry is start doing things I love again. You ever have something that you did that you love to do that you just don't do anymore? I have a lot of that stuff. I got a lot of that stuff, like a lot. But slowly but surely, I am starting to take on these different things with the addition of my podcast. So I'm taking on these additional, these additional things that I love to do, that I used to do, that I put away, and now I'm starting to pick them back up again. And it feels good because, man, I forgot how much I love some of the shit that I do. And how happy that it made me, and how independent that I felt, and how confident that I felt, and how accomplished that I felt. When I was loving comedy, when I was doing what I loved, there was nothing anybody could tell me about it. I loved it. Nothing that anybody could say about it. And somewhere along the way, I lost the love for it. I lost the love for a lot of things. But I've found that love again, and I am just as passionate about stand-up comedy as I used to be. Maybe even a little bit more. So I'm going out to start doing not just stand-up comedy, but everything that I love. I'm going out and starting to do that shit again. And I don't care what it takes, what I got to do. I'm going to do it. Come hell or high water. Can't sit here. Can't continue to sit here. It's scary. It's scary out there, but you can't continue to sit here. You got to grab it, and you got to wrestle that shit to the ground, and you have to take control of your life. You got to take control, just like I do. I think that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Deron Harris Podcast. Listen, folks, mental health is a really big thing to me, man. If you're into it, cool. If not, I get it. I understand. Turn the channel. But I'm really into it. So, yes, you will hear me periodically from time to time do shows on mental health because, like I said, it is one of the driving forces, one of the reasons that I do my show, because not only is it a podcast for me, it's actually talk therapy for me. So sitting here doing this podcast is actually affirming some of that stuff, because there was a time that I never thought that I could sit and talk to myself. Now, I can go stand on a stage and do jokes with the best of them, but I never thought that I could sit someplace and talk to myself out loud for 30 minutes. And here I am breaking those records, shattering that mark. So I think it's a pretty good thing to start doing the things that make you who you are. If you've stopped, pick it back up. Don't let nobody take you off of it. Don't let nobody deter you. Not nobody. You hear me? Nobody. And I guarantee you, if you start doing these things, take some of these steps and incorporate them and really stick by them, really commit to doing these things, I think things might get better. I think they might get a little better for you. I've started doing some of these things and they've already gotten better for me. So, listen, guys, I'm going to call it a week. But before I do that, I want to thank my wife, Yvonne, for being the best wife in the world. I want to thank my mother for being the best mother in the world, and my dad for being the best father in the world. I want to thank my best friend for giving me the courage to do this podcast, and also for being me on social media. I want to thank Gentry Thomas for giving me the platform to do my podcast on, and I want to thank everybody who's listened and doesn't listen anymore, everybody who has listened and is still listening, and everybody who has not yet listened. I want to thank you in advance. So I think that's going to do it for me for this week's episode of the Deron Harris Podcast. I'll see you next Friday, folks. Peace.